Force field's doing it out, but here come the Banelings.
Force field's getting thrown down, but Banelings getting dropped, annihilating the Colossus.
That same strategy used against Instinct, and will it work?
I believe we're going to see the same thing now. Oh man, Lunchbox coming up huge right here.
Up to impact, he's going to have to wait for his teammate find him on the manhunt, and Scump comes out on top.
To the front, here they come, surprise!
Oh, MVP with the perfect tactical execution. Doing an awesome job as well.
The game is over.
MLG 2011 champion, and we see more auto turrets dropping in. Good game,
GG!
The final boss holds. MVP undefeated in this tournament.
Welcome to MLG Raleigh. Please give it up to Major League Gaming CEO, Sundance DiGiovanni.
How's everybody doing tonight? So it's been a couple of weeks since Anaheim, and we're here in Raleigh. We got Hurricane Irene, right? But we don't care about hurricanes. We care about esports, right? All right, so I want to welcome all of you here to Raleigh. Thank you for making the trip. For the folks who are at home, thanks for joining us. It's awesome to have you. We're going to start with a little welcome of our casters today. We got some folks in the back who are going to be bringing all the action to you. On the Black Ops side, we've got Corey Dunn and Holiday Doc. Round of applause, come on. Starcraft Red, two of my buddies. Tasteless, Artosis, Tastosis. Starcraft Blue, two more handsome gentlemen. We got Husky, Day9. That's right. Look at those. And then for Halo Reach, of course, we've got Chris Puckett, Gandhi and Shockwave. That's right, make some noise. And a special edition here in Raleigh, League of Legends. We got Rivington and Forecourt Jester. Where's the hat, man? All right. Now we got something a little new we're going to do. We're going to bring up the champions, the returning champions from the games from the last event. In the case of MVP, who can't be with us, we're going to bring up someone else, the current points leader, #1 seed. But for Call of Duty, we've got Quantic Leverage, the winners of Dallas and Anaheim. This is called a fill while you wait for people who are supposed to be. There they are. Okay. And then on the Halo side, there's a little video.
Leverage is on.
Sorry.
On fire right now.
People at home don't know that I just screwed that up, so I'm golden.
Commando is back as he takes care of business right there, slicing and dicing. They're doing phenomenal. They're making all of these plays count.
Leverage comes back to be able to take this one. They took Dallas, they take Anaheim.
There we go. That was great, right, guys here in the audience? Yeah, I didn't mess anything up. On the Halo side, we've got Eon Instinct, Columbus and Anaheim champions, and they don't drop games.
Let's all give it up for our Columbus Halo Reach champions, and that would be Instinct.
And Lunchbox is just laying down the ball. Bye-bye, face. Roy, just heat. No. Oh no, this is looking great. The game is over. Instinct takes home Anaheim.
Oh, and who's this guy? This is our #1 seed and Dallas champion, Naniwa.
Naniwa has so many other ground units ripping apart those stalkers that there is not going to be much. Naniwa in a absolutely commanding position.
Gotta watch out. There's the blink on the Colossus. One will go. Oh, one does go down. The second one's right behind it. No, it manages to steal it. No, it goes down. And good game, not
The European, the champion.
Sorry, it's a personal joke inside the room, folks at home. But next up, we've got our GSL Exchange players, all Code S players coming from Korea. We've got Bomber, Coca, Nada, and Trickster. Let's get a big round of applause. These guys came a long way to show you what they got.
Here comes Bomber picking up a couple tanks, and I think Bomber just might have enough.
And Nada charging through with the concussive shells. This is looking really good for Trickster.
Yep.
Trickster can just go for it now. He's going to. Clyde is out of units.
Kirk is back. Humph is going to work on this as well. And here comes the Baneling all the way through all these units. That just crushed all those sentries and stalkers.
He snips his main army into the middle of the map. He could take out. He could obliterate. He is destroying MVP's army outright.
Holy God, is Bomber good.
He really is. So those are the players you're here to see, but the thing that I have to always do is I have to thank all of you, the fans, the people who come out here and make this happen. So you guys honestly make us do this because we love it as much as you do. So give yourselves all a round of applause, okay? All right, and of course, for the kids who got a lift, thank your mom, thank your dad. For the husbands whose wives let them come, thank your wife. To the guys with kids or the moms with kids, they've let you leave for this, go back and thank them. But again, thanks to everyone who believes in what we do as much as we do. Now the sponsors, the ones who believe in it so much they give us money. We've got, in alphabetical order, Alienware, Astro, Bic Flex 4, come on, you can clap, Caliber 11, Dr. Pepper, Hot Pockets, Mad Cats, the National Guard, NOS Energy Drink, Parrot AR Drone, PlayStation, Stride, the Sony Xperia Play, and Warner Brothers. So again, I have a challenge. Most of you know that our stream numbers have been going up and up and up with all the events. With this event, some people weren't able to make it here because of the storm. Screw you, Irene. But anyway, if we're able to beat our concurrent viewer record from the last event, I will do the next introduction wearing an Evel Knievel costume in Orlando. Full jumpsuit, white boots, I promise. 150,000 concurrent viewers and it happens. So have fun, show some class, win with pride, lose with honor, shake hands, leave it in the game. Good luck and have fun. All right. Up next, we've got my boys, JP and Shibby with the pregame show. Thank you.
All right. Well, welcome to the 2011 Major League Gaming Pro Circuit. We're back for our fourth stop of the season in Raleigh, North Carolina. This weekend, we are hosting the best Starcraft 2, Halo Reach, League of Legends, and Call of Duty Black Ops players in the world here to compete on the biggest stage in North America. I'm Shibby, joined by the man, JP McDaniel.
Thank you so much, Shibby. I'm so excited to be here, and there's a lot to cover. So maybe we can just start off by explaining how our tournament coverage is going to be working.
Exactly, that's a good place to start. Well, each game has its own live video stream, which you can see at the top of MLG's homepage. So if you look at the top of the video player, you'll see 6 tab titles: StarCraft 2 Red, StarCraft 2 Blue, Halo Reach, Call of Duty Black Ops, League of Legends, and Gears of War 3. So just click on the tab you want to watch and you're all set. The stream you're watching right now will soon be the StarCraft 2 Blue stream.
And also, speaking of streams, Shibby, there's actually some exciting news in this department. We have many people has already heard of this, but
Yes.
We just introduced a new game, League of Legends, to the MLG Pro Circuit. It's actually one of the most popular online games.
That's
If you've
right.
never watched it before, well, there's about 1 billion people out there who can tell you all about it, Shibby.
That is right. MLG has invited the top 4 teams in America. Epic Gaming, Curse Gaming, Team Solo Mid, and Counter Logic Gaming are here competing for the $20,000 purse. It's going to be awesome. Our winner will be taking home $12,500, and our second place winner will be second place team, sorry, we walk away with $7,500. So they will be competing in a round robin format starting on Saturday at 10 a.m. So if you guys haven't watched this game before, you're definitely going to want to check it out.
Yeah, League of Legends is a ton of fun. Now, moving right along to Halo Reach, it of course is a first-person shooter. Teams are made up of 4 players. And the winner of this regular season competition will be walking away with $20,000.
That is, I love me some Halo, JP.
Gotta love Halo, man.
Yeah. Well, then you have Black Ops. You'll be seeing this competition in the 4v4 team format with the winner walking away with a $10,000 grand prize.
And of course, our 4th title here on the pro circuit, it's Starcraft 2. And of course, Starcraft 2 is played in a 1v1 format with the winner taking home a $5,000 grand prize. Now that we've covered all of these games, let's move on to some of the top stories here in MLG Raleigh.
I would love to. In Halo Reach, Team Eon Instinct, they're coming into this event with the same roster that won them MLG Columbus and MLG Anaheim. After only losing 1 game in Columbus, they topped it by going undefeated in Anaheim. So that puts them at a 42-1 overall record for the last 2 events. Roy, also a team member of Instinct, he won his 2nd straight MVP. So the big story is anybody going to be able to stop them?
Is anyone going to be able to stop them? I mean, that is an insane record, Shibby. It's just going undefeated in a tournament. If you're at MLG, the best players in the world, can it be done?
No, I don't think it will be.
Well, we'll have to see.
In Call of Duty Black Ops, Quantic Leverage showed that they're the team to beat right now, winning Anaheim with a dramatic comeback throughout the losers bracket. These guys showed off a lot of heart in Anaheim and now have 2 event wins underneath their belt this season. So they are definitely the fan favorites coming into Raleigh.
And of course, in StarCraft 2, we once again have an all-star lineup of Koreans in attendance. Through our League Exchange program, we are proud to welcome StarTel Bomber, Slayers Coca, StarTel Trickster, and none other than OGS Nada. Also, we have more great news, Shibby. DRG and Rain have decided to return on their own in hopes of getting an MLG title. And that's not all. It's like I'm an infomercial.
They just keep coming.
We've got Puma, we've got Hero, we've got Noblesse, we've got Choya. So that means that we've got a total of 10 Koreans here, some of the best in the biz and here in MLG Raleigh.
Well, it's definitely going to be crazy. What matchup are you looking forward to the most?
Well, I got to say, right after this opening, if you tune over into the Red Stream after the pregame show, it's going to be Idra versus Bomber, casted by Artosis and Tasteless. Can't get better than that.
Hard to beat. I just want to point out really quick that the top 6 spots all went to Koreans. We had 6 Koreans show up to Anaheim, and they took all top 6. I mean,
yeah, foreigners, you got to step it up.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Well, there are 2 more things before we sign out. There's a Mortal Kombat tournament going on in the venue this weekend. So for those of you who didn't qualify through the online competition, you can still sign up here in Raleigh, but it's first come, first serve. Be sure to check out the website to find out who the winner of that tournament will be.
And of course, finally, as a bonus here at MLG Raleigh, we're going to have a little show match tonight at 8:15. The Gears of War 3 developers and the 2000, 2008, 2009 Gears of War 1 and 2 national champions, the Insanes, are going to be going at it. It's kind of insane.
It's going to be epic.
We got to get out of here before they run us off, man.
All right, well, we'll be sure to keep track of the stories as the weekend develops. We're about to kick off all the pregame shows. Good luck, have fun, and enjoy MLG Raleigh.
Hello and welcome to Major League Gaming Raleigh 2011. I am Day 9.
And I am Husky. Sean, the crowd out there is out of control.
It's huge.
It is freaking amazing. So I'm super excited. On a scale of 1 to absolutely out of control excited. How excited are you, Sean?
Absolutely out of control excited, Mr.
Wow,
Husky.
that's at the very top.
I know. Given that scale, what else could I choose? Because
definitely not a 1.
There's over 300 players, best of the best from all over the world, going to be duking it out for that first place prize and the chance to join MVP and Naniwa as champions.
And Sean, I also want to mention that we have matching shirts today in representation of the blue stream.
That is correct.
And you're prepared. If they ever dump you on the red stream, you even got a red shirt to match. You're so prepared today.
As a matter of fact, Husky and I will be bringing you nonstop blue stream action all day today. Tomorrow we're going to upgrade to red.
Upgrade? Are we downgraded?
That's the reason I said red is because I'm the only one who has a red shirt. Husky's stuck with only blue shirts.
I brought like 3 blue shirts. That's just how original I am, too.
Of course, we will be doing a whole bunch of group play games here on the blue stream today. So we're going to be kicking it off today with Select versus TLO. We have a whole slew of matches that will be coming up today. But before we begin, let's talk a little bit about the structure of the tournament.
Yes. This is a tournament that a lot of people are kind of confused by, so it's good to clarify it a little bit. And Sean, you were kind of describing it as potentially sort of like 2 tournaments, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be pool play to start us off. And then they're going to be trying to rank through the pool play. So if your favorite player is losing their first game, so like we have TLO versus Select, if you're a fan of either of those players, just because they lose right now doesn't mean they're out of that tournament.
Absolutely. The way that the tournament works here at MLG is, again, to think of it like 2 tournaments. The open bracket where anyone can sign up, all this helps lead you to the pool play.
Yes.
And all this portion of the tournament is about determining ranking, determining your seed, how well you're doing compared to all the others in the tournament. And then on Championship Sunday, your rankings seed you into a second tournament that's a double elimination tournament. So if you're ranked, say, number 1 in your round robin group, then you start in the winner's bracket of that Championship Sunday bracket in the semifinals. But if you are ranked at the bottom, then you're in like round 10 of losers, and you have to win like 10 best of 3s in a row to make it to the finals. So the games today are really, really important because it means you have an easier tournament ahead of you for every game you win.
Absolutely. Like, I think at the last MLG Select went something like 0-5 in his pool play, but that even then he wasn't out of the tournament. He still was able to work his way as far as he could. And I actually did talk to him after that MLG, and he says he is going to do much better this time. So.
He's been training quite a bit.
Yeah, he's been doing really good, man.
Which, of course, brings us to looking at the pools that we're going to be beginning with today. Let's start with Pool A. Again, every single one of the groups that we look at has a hidden 6th seed that will be coming from the open bracket. So this is Pool A, the group that many consider the group of death.
I was just going to say that, Sean. I was looking at multiple polls online, and they were all saying, oh, my God, this group, no idea what's going to happen. So we have Naniwa, Huck in control, so 3 Protoss in that group with Rain and Koka, man.
Yeah, Koka, now recently moved, I believe, to Team Slayers, has been doing very, very well, very solid Zerg. He's one of those top Zerg players that hasn't made it really, really far in a lot of the GSL tournaments, but of course, very, very feared player. Regularly mentioned as a good practice partner, very, very scary. We have Naniwa and Huck. Naniwa won in MLG, Huck won in MLG, both training in Korea. Rain, the new pickup from Fnatic MSI. And in control, you know, a lot of people would label him as the weak spot in the group, but, you know, unfortunately, in every group, all the players are really, really good. And in control has been training at that EG Pro House. So he has a lot more experience under his belt.
Huck also recently joining Team EG, so we will see some team killing going on there. And that group, definitely, again, looking at those polls, there's just so many good players. I could see either of them advancing. So let's go ahead and take a look at the second pool. We'll go ahead and bring it up here.
And, you know, in Pool A, I'd probably say I think Huck could pull an upset and prevent one of those Koreans from getting the top 2 spots.
Oh, yeah. Huck playing absolutely phenomenal. Here, I'm noticing a severe lack of Protoss, Sean.
And, you know, this is actually great news for the players in this group if they're practice-oriented players. You know, there's a lot of people who like to sort of wing games a lot, just do a lot of just random laddering, but if you can eliminate practicing against a whole race, you don't even have to worry about playing versus Protoss that much. That's going to help a lot. So Idra, Heypro, Machine, the 3 Zergs there, definitely would label Idra as the strongest Zerg in that group.
And Bomber there down at the bottom. And Sho is a Terran that I always find interesting to watch because sometimes I feel like he'll drop a game or 2 and it's like, what's going on? But then he'll show up to a tournament and do absolutely amazing. So he's one of those players. I'm emotional just watching him, Sean, because I never know what's going to happen. But he's good. I've cast a lot of his games, and he is good.
Yeah, you know, Sho is one of the players who went 1-2 in every single game at his recent MLG. 1-2 every single, well, actually, he won 2-1. Let's just say that all his best of 3s went to that third set. He definitely performed quite well. Always performs well, but like you said, he's one of those higher variance players. I think that the options people would choose for first and second would be Idra and Bomber, but I think Sho has a strong potential to upset because he does have Idra's number in a lot of tournaments, has taken some very crazy wins off him with some crazy strats, and Bomber not only recovering from jet lag, having come from Korea, but also has tournament nerves.
Oh, absolutely. And we also have Machine and Heypro in there, of course. 1 on Team Liquid, 1 on Team EG. So I'm always curious to see how those players perform because they have the backing of a very strong team. I mean, those are the foreign teams that pretty much everyone's starting to, you know, love and know. And so Machine especially, I'm curious because he's living at the house too, being able to practice with all of those top gamers. So, yeah, I'm really curious to see how Machine performs here. A lot of people have been talking about it.
If we move on to Pool B, we don't have all of 2 races for once. It looks like we are getting the chance to see Trickster take a step in there.
Yeah.
He is going to be representing the Protoss faction. But again, a lot of Terrans and Zergs showing up to the top. Protosses have been performing very weakly in tournaments as of late. Again, the top 2 would have to be Dongray Gu, labeled as DRG there, and Trickster, the Protoss. But I do think Slush and Select have a strong chance to cause some upsets. I mean, Slush has been the upset special at every MLG.
Yeah, I love watching Select. I was watching him in the NASL and in our own tournament and all of that. He is so strong. And he was saying in the last MLG, he just was not playing to his best of his ability. And quite honestly, I expect him to have practiced very heavily coming into this. He wants to put on a good show. So I would not be surprised at all to see him advance out of this.
I would say Select and TLO, our first matchup that we're going to be seeing, would definitely put the favor towards Select by a huge margin.
I'm going to have to agree, Sean.
Select is pretty much loves Terran versus Terran. Even when he doesn't have to practice for the matchup, he practices anyways because it is far and away his favorite.
And he's also hyper-aggressive there, so I'm all antsy. When I saw that was our first matchup, I'm just like, ooh, 2 of my favorite players. And in TVT, Select always makes it fun. I've seen him win games that he absolutely should not have because he's just way too good, Sean.
If we go ahead and take a look at Pool D, we get the chance to see a lot of crowd favorites showing up. Kiwi Kaki has always performed very, very well. We have the 2 players from Team Liquid, Rhett and Chef, gigantic crowd favorites. People love watching them play.
And Moonin and Nada down there, also huge fan favorites, and have been recently watching Moonin myself. Rhett and Sheth are so good. If you guys don't know these players, definitely keep an eye out for them. They've been performing very well in the tournaments that they've been playing. Sheth recently, of course, did play against Select in that Blizzard Invitational that you cashed on, and the games were so close. I forget how many games they ended up playing, but it came down to the last game for the whole tournament.
They played 9 games. They played 3 best-of-3s. Every single one went to game 3, and Sheth lost 4-5. So kind of losing, but basically very evenly matched. I honestly think that if there's going to be one group where Koreans don't win, and to be entirely honest, Koreans will likely dominate this tournament, Husky. It's going to be Rhett and Sheth. I think do have a very strong possibility of getting into those 1 and 2 slots. Rhett has been slaughtering everyone he plays against. His Zerg vs. Terran is incredible. Sheth has been doing very, very well. And keep in mind, Nada did get knocked out of NASL in the Terran vs. Zerg matchup by Morrow, a player who's not here with us today, but does play stylistically quite similar to those 2.
Yeah, I'm getting nerd chills just looking at this pool, Sean.
Oh, who are you, Artosis?
No, he's sitting right next to me, though, having fun on the other stream, of course. There is 2 streams. Just have to mention that, guys. Make sure to tune into those 2 streams. As I was looking at the lineup for both streams, Sean,
they're kind of absurd.
I feel like if I was crafting a tournament and I was like, this is going to be the players in each pool, I couldn't come up with better pools.
Yeah, in fact, I feel horrible for any of you who don't have 2 monitors because you really need to watch everything.
Yeah.
I mean, even I, casting here, can look right over there and can see the game.
Yeah, if you ever see us dristing over there, there's something epic going on.
That's because we're multitasking. There's going to be Idra versus Bomber on the red stream while we're doing Select versus TLO.
Yeah, it's going to be a TVT opener. Sean, do you have any thoughts about that matchup for TLO versus Select? You're saying Select going to be pretty, I would say, heavily favored in that. The little one, of course, had his condition where he couldn't play as much.
Oh, yeah.
But I do know for a fact I've been following him on Twitter, Facebook, even harassing him on Skype. He's been practicing quite a bit.
Yeah, and let's just take a look at what these players will be playing for at this tournament. If we look at that prize breakdown,
money.
First place is $5,000, and you'll notice that the going to be $2,000 or $3,000, $2,000, and the prize ranking actually goes all the way to 8th place.
Yes.
Which means a lot of times when players have been eliminated from the tournament, they still have another match to play, not just for this prize money, but for those extremely important MLG rank points.
Yeah, absolutely. So that means since it pays out all the way to the rank 8, do you think we're going to be seeing a lot of foreigners in there in that top 8, Sean?
Well, no, I actually don't. I actually think that the Korean practice regimen has really finally clearly surpassed the foreigners. But I think that there is a strong possibility that Rhett could make it into the top spots. I mean, if you do get top 2 in your group, you're guaranteed to be, I believe, in the top 12 of the tournament. If you get first place in your group, you're guaranteed to be in top 6. So I really think that Rhett could come out as first in his group. Perhaps Huck could come out as first in his group. But I really don't think there's going to be any more than 2 foreigners in the top 8.
Yeah, and there are very strong players here, though. I mean, Idra always able to work his way up through the ranks. So I don't know what's going to happen, but yes, we did see Korean domination in the last tournament. Was it top 6? Is that what happened?
It was first to 6 was Korean, and then Huck and Naniwa were there trying to claw their way up.
Right.
But we're stuck in 8th and 7th place. But that really goes to show you how competitive MLG is becoming.
Oh, yeah.
I'm kind of the opinion that if you enter the pool play and make it, or enter the open bracket and get into pool play, you should be given like your own $10,000 prize.
Just right there for surviving that.
Because, I mean, in the open bracket, there are so many good players. I know Noblesse is playing today. There's several players from Team Slayers. There's, I believe, Huang Sin is out there in the open bracket. Every single good player from every single team that you've heard of is out there. Everyone from Liquid is here today, actually. Everyone from Team Liquid is out here today. I mean, Jinro is in the open bracket. Who else is on Team Liquid that isn't in the open?
Well, there's Rhett, Sheth in the pool play, and then Huck is with EG now. So you mentioned Hey Pro, right?
Oh, Hey Pro is
and
in the
yeah. I mean, in the pool play.
The important thing is that there's a lot of really good players. I mean,
yes.
It was kind of crazy to see last MLG how one of the final matches of the Open was Liquid Tyler versus FXO's Choya,
right?
Where Tyler barely managed to edge through. But again, that's what makes it so critical to get those rank points, so that way you can get into the pool play, so you don't have to battle through the insane difficulty that's in the open bracket.
Absolutely, and I remember watching the pool play, or the bracket play rather, from the last one, and it almost felt like, I mean, we kind of mentioned it as its own tournament. It feels like some of those games, even in the pool play, is the finals of a huge like year-long tournament, and you're just like, oh, that's one of 10 games he's going to be playing today. So very stressful. And the thing about that is they have to play so many games that they basically have a very high chance of having to play every matchup in like one day.
Oh, yeah.
And to practice for that, I don't know how you do it. Like, I have a hard enough time practicing for Nexus Wars, let alone playing. I don't even know how they do it.
I mean, the Nexus Wars tournaments are just getting really cutthroat these days.
I know. I have a really good build I'm not going to reveal because everyone's going to do it, and then I have to find up a new build for that.
That is true. It's important to keep those Nexus War strategies close to the chest. Now, I mean, another player who I think is a big fan favorite out in the open bracket today, also going to be QXC. Who recently all-killed Team IM. And he was telling me a funny story, actually, that he was out at a dinner with his team owner and the rest of his team and said that if I all-kill a team, you have to buy me something awesome. He's like what? And he said, how about a Jedi robe? And I'd heard that part of the story, and then I saw him today, and he's wearing a Jedi robe.
He is not.
He is. He's wearing a Jedi robe. He's playing in it. All you have to do is look for the Jedi robe, and you will know that QXC's there.
This is the first time I'm hearing this story for real, and I'm super excited about it.
Today he put on his robe and his wizard bandana.
He's just going to be hacking down anyone he beats with a lightsaber.
No doubt.
That is absolutely insane. And, yeah, to be able to all-kill a team like that while in Korea, I don't know, man. QXC is awesome. And one thing I want to mention about QXC is if you ever get his signature, watch out because he will cover the entire thing with his signature. It's only 3 letters, but he can spread them out. I don't know how he does it, man, but he is a great guy. Definitely look out for him.
So our match that we will be going into, the players are setting up right now, is going to be Dignitas' Select versus Liquid TLO. And I think everyone's pretty familiar with how Select plays. I mean, he is nonstop attacking, dropping, being insanely in your face nonstop. And he was one of the first big adopters of the Blue Flame Hellion style.
Yeah, he has made it work. But I've also seen him go Marine Marauder in TVTs. And he will drop like 8 places at once. I don't even know how his computer can handle that much multitasking. But he is so good. And every game that I've cast for him, probably in the last month, he has kept that hyper-aggressive style where no matter what he's doing, even if he's just going Marine Siege Tank, which you would expect to be kind of slow, no, he's in your base with his first like 4 Marines killing you off. So the little one, known for very creative play. We haven't seen super creative play out of him in TVT, at least I haven't, recently. His TVZ was pretty creative, I'm not sure what to expect out of him for this one.
Well, TVT is kind of a weird matchup as of late because the defining play of last MLG was, of course, the Blue Flame Hellion.
Right.
In their research, they found that it was researched 320 times.
320?
320.
In just the one tournament, right?
Yeah, and it wasn't some guy just starting it and canceling it to try to troll. It was actually the predominant strategy. The one issue players used to struggle with Blue Flame Hellions was getting into a good position where they would actually be useful.
Right.
It's very easy for a bunch of Marauders to crush through them. Or, to just be caught out of position once, to even Marines, and to lose all the Hellions and be useless. But players have been going for a lot of Hellions and Vikings, just pure, right at the start of the game, keeping the aggression up, learning how to stay alive. And If you can get to that phase, then suddenly you can kill off all your opponent's workers. So there were these gigantic swinging battles that came up, and it was a lot of Blue Flame Hellion versus Blue Flame Hellion. But in, I would say, the last 3 or 4 weeks, players are starting to learn how to go Marine Marauder to spread themselves out, to wall off areas of their base with buildings, to negate the advantage that those Blue Flame Hellions bring. And it's very, very hard, but if you can pull it off right, the Marine Marauder allows you to have better positioning, you can expand much more rapidly, and most importantly, you're faster. You don't have to siege up tanks. Excuse me, you don't have to siege up Marauders or Marines either. You can deal with their siege tanks quite well.
Yeah, and Marine Marauder always just kind of a strong unit composition. If you're at their front door knocking with Marines and Marauders, they are going to tear it down. And usually, with the multitasking of Select, I would not be surprised to see him do that. There's time and time again I've seen him go that Marine Marauder style. And I do want to mention today, I can't remember if I mentioned this, but we have a lot of Terran games. A Terran is in every single game on the Blue Stream. So if you're a Terran fan out there, you should be writing down these builds. And we'll most likely see a lot of Blue Flame Hellions, although there is a chance that there will be a balance change revolving around the Blue Flame Hellion. It's not finalized yet, but...
and it's so important as a player to not be sitting in your game cursing that they didn't patch it. I know, for instance, In Control really wanted those Immortals to have 1 more range.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
White Raw really wanted those extra buff Warp Prisms, but of course you have to stay focused on the tournament today. And speaking of the tournament today, let's go through a rundown of the matches. We talked a little bit about Select versus TLO, which we of course will be coming back to in a moment. But then we have Kiwikaki versus Nada, Show versus Bomber, which is a match I'm really excited for. Naniwa versus Rain, Select versus Dongregu, Rain versus Koka, and then wrapping it up is going to be Idra versus Show.
Idra versus Show. I can't wait for that, Sean. You were saying that Show does a pretty good showing versus Idra in a lot of tournaments. So we'll see. That's going to be closing us out with that game. So I'm super excited about that. Are there any of these, Sean, that which ones do you just predict are going to be absolutely epic? I'm really excited for Naniwa versus Rain, just because I love watching Naniwa. And then also our second game, Kiwikaki versus Nada.
Ooh,
and I saw you, sorry to interrupt, but I saw you talking to him before the game. And
that's right. We were discussing how obnoxious the 1-1-1 structure is, the Marine Banshee tank thing that I think has is it a 100% win rate?
I don't know, Sean.
I'm pretty
dangerous.
sure it's at least 100% in GSL right now. Like, players just can't quite seem to get a leg up against it. So Kiwikaki and I were discussing all the various ways which you can stay alive, but you just sort of look silly.
You look silly. You were talking about a lot of one-base gaming there. And Kiwikaki was kind of revealing some of the strategies he wants to do. I don't think he's going to do anything super cheesy in that game. At least he says he was going to not do it like that. So I don't know, man.
Well, either way, whatever you heard us say, shh, don't tell Nada. Kiwikaki's going to need all the help he can get. So we are going to go ahead and take a very brief break while we get Select and TLO set up into this game, and I'm very excited for that upcoming match.
I am freaking out, Sean, so don't go anywhere. Go drink a NOS and warm up a Hot Pockets and drink a Dr. Pepper, as we are going to get this underway here very shortly, right after this super fast break.
Welcome back to MLG Raleigh 2011 Husky. We are about to pop into Dignitas Select versus Liquid TLO.
I'm super excited for this. Our very first game of today is going to be Terran versus Terran, Sean. And any predictions going forward in this series? It is going to be a best of 3.
Well, I'm going to have to say that Select is going to maul TLO. I mean, I hate to say that because TLO is just such a nice, friendly guy.
Him. You can't help but love him.
TLO, I honestly think, isn't a real person. I think he was just like a toy that fell out of a cereal box, like a box of Fruit Loops, and then he just came to life and began playing StarCraft. Like, you're so cute.
Oh, God, we love him.
I know. He has his little adorable German accent. He likes to nuke people, and whenever he does, he giggles. You see his shoulders shaking. But the problem is that he's had a long period of inactivity due to his wrist injuries.
Yeah, and that's something that has been kind of haunting him ever since they started. Not only were they haunting him while his wrist injuries were very bad, but still kind of haunting him a little bit just because if you lose that practice time in StarCraft, it is invaluable. You really have to study hard, practice a lot to get back on your feet. But, I mean, the little one, he has done major upsets before, and he's done it with style. So we'll see if he's going to be stylish today here.
You know, I still remember when Tyler came through the open bracket, got put in the group with 3 other Team Liquid players.
Perfect.
TLO, last in his group, had to play against Tyler and nuked him twice to take the wins. And again, with his little his little German giggle, he managed to
probably
take the win
like an awkward night back at Team Liquid the room they
yeah,
were
the,
in. I mean,
the
it's like,
comeback, and there's Tyler. He's all black and charred from being nuked twice. And, oh, it was really embarrassing.
yeah, and that's why the little one has so many fans. Every time I see him out there, he's just getting mauled by fans. Like, I guess I stole your word maul, but regardless.
Well, he's getting mobbed by fans. The fans aren't out
fans.
there with axes cutting him apart or anything like that, but he's definitely a crowd favorite.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, I like what you were saying earlier about how when you have some sort of injury that prevents you from playing, or even if it's something as simple as you had to go to work or school and couldn't jump into the game, there is no more frustrating feeling than thinking, I have to work hard to get back to where I was. It's like a runner who's used to running 6-minute miles and gets a leg injury and then is running 8-minute miles. You know that this feels bad, and you know what it's like to feel really on the ball. So that's very psychologically frustrating. And I haven't really seen much of him play. There's been a lot of players who've done this sort of pull back into hiding and train really, really hard, like Chef, who then stepped back on the scene and looked amazing.
And was crushing everyone. And also Select, while he does a little bit of live streaming and stuff like that, he isn't super public about his play. I mean, yes, he does play in a lot of tournaments. There is some streaming going on. But out of him, I mean, since he's so hyper-aggressive, I've seen him use basically every unit in the Terran arsenal.
Oh, yeah.
And just be like,
and
it's like,
strategy.
okay, yeah. And it's like, now, okay, we need to stop this attack because this is what everyone else does. No, he doesn't. He just keeps going. So I never know what to expect out of that guy. But he's usually pretty solid. So I'm curious to see how heavily he practiced since the last MLG.
He does have to break that curse of being dead last in his group. A very obnoxious curse to have.
Yeah, not a good one.
He went 0-5 and I believe 1-4 at last MLG. Just performed abysmally. He did have one of the hardest group back-to-back that I've seen any player have to go through. And in the open bracket, or excuse me, in the pool play, you're bound to be up against incredibly good players, any of whom can take a game off you. But this tournament, he's been doing a lot of quiet practicing.
Yes.
Played brilliantly at the North American Invitational. We didn't get the chance to see him play that much TVT, but he has said that this is his favorite matchup, and I spoke to him beforehand, and he was feeling extremely confident to take this win.
And that does play a huge role in someone's play. I know In Control was tweeting a lot about how he's not feeling super comfortable going into this event. He has been practicing a lot, but just having the right mindset going forward in a game can be a huge deal. Now, one thing I want to mention really quick, Sean, is make sure on Reddit in the gaming section, there's going to be an MLG thread up there. Make sure to go upvote it. It's for esports. It's like 2 seconds to make an account, and it has to be in the gaming section. Now, I love the Starcraft subreddit on Reddit, I guess. But
you guys upvoted anyways.
Yeah, so go to the gaming one because that puts it on the homepage. And some of the stuff on there, I just want to vomit when I see it on the homepage of Reddit. So for the bettering of esports, go upvote that on the gaming section.
And, of course, let us know what you think about the games via our Twitter accounts and, of course, via the MLG Twitter accounts. I'm at Day9TV.
Yes. And I am at Husky. I want to mention, Sean, I do my best to update people between the games. I'm kind of busy here. So make sure to follow both of us for those updates. And there's also the MLG Twitter, which they like have a designated person who's updating that. And that's just at MLG, which is super easy. So if you want to get your fill of esports with 3 clicks, then definitely go follow those. We're going to be updating you guys as much as possible.
And there's another secret ultra hidden Twitter that's my most followed Twitter account during all this event is MLG SC2 Scores. That keeps live updates of all the open bracket, of all the pool play. Anything that we don't cast gets updated there. Anything we do cast, well, it gets updated there as well. So literally every single match of this entire tournament, those scores will be reported there. And it looks like the only thing we need right now is TLO.
This matchup would be a lot more interesting with another player, but usually they're busy setting up their equipment and all that, and they have to make sure they get their settings right. I remember a couple of games of the last MLG, the settings weren't correct to perfectly what they need, and you just can't play StarCraft if your settings are not so precise. Because I've seen time and time again players lose a game where they misclick by like half a centimeter. So if your mouse is like got mouse acceleration on, enhanced pointer precision, is that what they call it now?
I know. Isn't that garbage? I hate that. Like, enhanced pointer precision, you know? That's like, that's useless. That's like, would you like this mouse without trans fat? It's like, no, I just want it to move where I want it to. Like, kill mouse acceleration, please, please.
Just
all
write it
operating
off
systems,
forever.
get rid of it because it really impedes my ability to micro my Marines versus
And
Banelings.
also to spectate, Sean. People don't realize how hard it is to spectate accurately. So thankfully, we were able to turn that off before the cast, so we're not accelerating like all across the screen.
Oh, yeah. I remember there was many, many years ago, there was a mouse that it had one of those buttons on the side that if you pressed, it actually just sped the cursor up. And it was this week when I was like, I'm going to play Terran, and I just marched it straight into a bunch of lurkers, and I was like, no. And
I wish those were a thing of the past, but my laptop that I recently got comes with one of those. And it's on the top where you put your palm, and so every time I'm like, I'm going to scroll up, and then my mouse is like all the way over. So
that's like having a button on the bottom of your shoes that shoots heels out of them for when you want to get elegant right on the fly. Just it's like, what? I'm 6'3". I don't need more inches. I already bumped my head into doorways in Europe. Thanks, European door designers. Well, speaking of Europeans, man. TLO, we've talked a lot about his carpal tunnel and how he's had a lot of problems practicing as of late.
Yeah.
But I'm real curious to see what his style looks like now, because we always call him the creative Terran, but there's really no unit that is not okay to make in Terran versus Terran.
Yeah, absolutely.
Almost anything that you do is normal. Banshee Viking and Battlecruiser is a normal transition in the mid to late game. Marine Marauder, very standard. Marine Tank, used to be more standard, but still absolutely fine if you have really good control. Now the Hellion Tank Viking stuff.
Yeah, and there's a lot of timing windows that players use. I've seen Select do it, and I'm curious if TLO is going to do it today, where they do move out with just a couple of units, including the Vikings. And the thing is both players have to decide, when do I actually land the Viking? And I've seen some extremely terrifying pushes, and I'm like, oh, he's only got 3 Vikings. I don't know what. He lands them, and it's very good versus the Hellions and the Marines. And players are starting to utilize every single unit. We saw a build, I think it was in the GSPA, where a player was getting 3 or 4 Ravens like at the very beginning, and you're like,
oh yeah, I remember that. This is the Slayers team. Slayers MMA have been getting a lot of Ravens.
Yes.
Slayers Boxer. That composition of getting some Hellions out at the start to obviously do the blue flame damage, then people said, well, why don't I just build a couple of Marines here as well? So that way I can make my push a little bit stronger, kind of push it over the edge. And they said, well, I'm broke and I have a starport. Ravens.
Raven.
And weirdly enough, the Raven getting 3 or 4 Ravens, as we've seen in our TVTs recently, it's an incredible tide turner.
Oh, yeah.
And if there's anyone who would be going mass Raven, well, it would be TLO.
Yeah, it would be TLO. It's sometimes it's like he's playing, the fastest map possible, but he makes the builds actually work, where he's getting massive amount of units that players aren't using as much. But you mentioned, Sean, in TVT that players are beginning to use every single unit, and that is so true. That is why it is becoming one of my favorite matchups, because in what other matchup? I'm thinking like StarCraft 1 Days ZVZ, where there's only 2 units, 2 hotkeys you have to know, the Zergling and the Mutalisk.
What 2 hotkeys? Excuse me. Let us take a brief break to point out how that is not true, Husky. Zerg vs. Zerg in Brood War was beautiful. You had Mutalisk and Scourge and Zerglings, and just think about just these 3 units, the way the Mutalisk would just kind of weave around. Shoot out the glaive worms, they'd be bouncing around, picking off Scourge. And you know how many hotkeys you use in Zerg vs. Zerg?
How many?
All of them. Because you know the way you hotkeyed Scourge, you'd hotkey 12, and then 10 of them, and then 8 of them, and 6 of them. So if you sent them in, you could pull back any pairing at any point in time.
It was a work of art, Sean. I'm sorry to have offended. I just meant making the units hotkeys. You didn't need as many in other matchups. But you can still beat me up about it after. That's fine.
Oh, that's right. Well, that's fine. No one here is playing Brood War. So we're going to go ahead and come back to StarCraft 2. TLO's actually
still MIA, looks like.
Not in the game. He apparently just disappeared. I guess he just got mauled too much by the fans.
Oh, man. So, yeah, we're just waiting for him. Select here, just chatting it up, being awesome as always.
Oh, I know. Being like, sup, son?
Sup, son?
Sup, son? Doing this thing?
The thing I can't do is like the sideways smirk. Like, how is it? There,
you have to like, break your head.
I was looking at that the other day and realizing that face is completely offset. I don't know how anyone would ever do that. And I'm hoping the people at the last MLG who had the sign flipping table where they were actually spinning the table, I want to see that again. My MLG will not be complete until... Did you not see that?
I didn't see that.
It was like a 2-person sign, and it has, the flipping emoticon, but they have it on the back where they twist it, and the table's like flipping forever. And that's all I would talk about when it cut to it. And people were messaging me like, shut up about that stupid sign. But it's not stupid.
But, of course, who's the one with the microphone, Husky? Up top, man.
Boom! We can talk about that sign all day long. So...
And, of course, I'm looking over at the right. We're doing a little bit of multitasking here. It looks like we're already on game 2 of our good friend Bomber versus Idra. And it looks like, oh, no, it looks like...
I can't tell. My eyesight's so horrible.
Are we allowed to spoil results on this stream? You know what? I'm going to cover my mouth. That way you can't see. Bomber is up 1-0 right now on the red stream. Yeah, and it was pretty quick.
Did you see the opening build that Bomber used?
I did.
I was peeking at it through the corner of my eye.
It was a bunker rush.
It was. But the thing is, Sean, is that he put the barracks right next to the hatchery, just out of the vision of the hatchery, and he didn't spot it. So the Marine got there to kill the drone that was killing it. That cheesing
jerk. But anyways, we will be going into our first game 1.
As soon as we find the little one, have we actually found him? I feel like he may be aimlessly wandering around at the Anaheim Convention Center, wondering where everyone is.
Well, let's go ahead and step into the analysis that we have for match number 2. Kiwikaki versus Nada. Kiwikaki getting second earlier in the year at Dallas when Naniwa got that first place spot.
Oh, yeah?
Playing very, very well. I mean, Kiwikaki, in that tournament, even taking down Idra 2-0 in that pool play. And now he's up against Nada, who's making a first-time appearance here at MLG. A lot of people are excited to see the chance to watch Nada play.
Oh, yeah.
But Kiwikaki is just so ridiculously solid that I do think Nada has had a little bit of shakiness in that matchup. He recently lost to Huck 1-2 in the GSL. Spoiler. But Nada still put up a very, very solid fight.
It's Nada. I mean, Nada has been around since the dawn of time. He was playing like StarCraft 0 because he has been playing forever. I mean, there's so many Nada fans out there. I believe, is he the most decorated StarCraft player ever? Like, does he have like just trophies just falling out of like his cupboard? They're like collecting dust. He has so many.
It seriously looks like a poorly designed interface for Photoshop on his jacket. It's like medals covering everything. He looks like a war general in some Michael Bay movie. It's pretty absurd how well he's done winning. Look, I know you don't play Brood War, but he was won 3 on GameNet Star Leagues, won 3 NBC Star Leagues.
No big deal.
Won the Grand Slam, winning the KPGA Tour.
And then he transitioned into StarCraft kind of pretty quick. Like, there's a lot of players who have, still played Brood War, but he was one of the players who jumped on the StarCraft 2 bandwagon. I think it was BlizzCon right after StarCraft was announced. I saw him already playing it then.
Oh, yeah.
And it was very hilarious. His APM was like 4 because he didn't know any of the hotkeys. And he was going mass siege tank. He was doing it StarCraft 1, so that's all he had was mass tanks. I think I can't remember who he was playing, but it was a very entertaining game.
And now he is having great success, having incredible control, has that deep care over each unit. He treats them like, he works at like a penguin orphanage, and all the units are his little penguins waddling around doing their own thing. They don't speak English, but he kind of scoots them where they need to go, and whenever they're in trouble, he will make sure each little penguin is taken to that medevac to the end. There's a lot of players who I think, quite frankly, just pretend they're not penguins for a moment, pretend that these are actually just digital, battling units.
Ones and zeros.
Yeah. Who, if a unit's kind of dead, they're like,
it's done.
And they ignore it. But not Nada. Not a lot of those top Koreans care for all their units till the very end, and if they can just get 1 or 2 extra shots off, maybe kill an extra drone or 2.
Yeah, and that analogy, Sean, hit at home, because I very recently saw Happy Feet. And now I don't want penguins to die. So if there's a way that they can play this TBT without killing any units, then I'm going to be okay. Otherwise, I may just start crying because, God, those movies, man.
Yeah, there was a era in cinema when there were like 5 CG penguin movies that came out all at the same time, and Happy Feet was one that I found predominantly touching.
Dude, that reminds me of, this is not going to be on topic at all, but you remember the movie Babe with the little pig that talks? There was another movie that came out like right after that, exact same plot. The only difference is they didn't animate the talking. It was just like this voice that would come out of nowhere, and I was sourly disappointed in that movie.
Oh my gosh, Babe was... That'll do, pig.
God, memories.
That line is so cute. I've used that for years.
It lives on.
That'll do, pig. And people who've seen the movie, they think it's cute. But my girlfriends who hadn't seen the movie, they didn't.
They were not that impressed. Have we found the little one, or is he still wandering around?
No, we haven't found TLO. Select isn't here, and Select, while we were doing all that talking with one another, has been actively talking to himself in the channel. As we wait for...
Oh, my God, he has. You are not joking. There's like 30 messages to himself.
Seriously, like, we're scrolling through it. It looks like a picture from The Matrix. It's just text flying up. So, I mean, we might be stepping out for a brief moment to see what's up with TLO. We're going to stay on air.
I will have to go find him myself, call him up, and see what's going on. Now, again, usually he's probably just most likely setting up all of his computer thing, his peripherals and all of that, because when you're playing StarCraft 2, you have to have the exact things. Is it Sheth that plays with a keyboard on his lap?
Sheth does play with his keyboard in lap.
Yeah, that just shows you the importance of having your keyboard. Like when I play mine crooked. This way, you can't really see it on camera, but I play my mouse and keyboard super crooked. So
yeah.
So you got to set up your stuff. It takes a while.
I even know some players who I've heard stories of people bringing rulers in there and a Flash.
He does it. Seen it on film many times.
I've seen people put a piece of paper underneath their mouse and keyboard, and then they trace where the keyboard goes relative to the mouse pad, so that way they can set the paper down and get it just right and then tape everything in. Like, people really like their setups, and it looks like, indeed, we will be going to a brief break. Terribly sorry about the delay, but TLO needs everything just right.
And when we come back, we can talk about more Disney movies. So I don't think either of those is actually a Disney movie.
Well,
regardless,
either
they
way,
have cute animals.
Either way, I'm Day 9.
And I am Husky. We'll be right back after this.
Hello and welcome back to MLG Raleigh 2011. I'm Day 9.
I'm Husky.
And I have some shocking news.
Very sad news. I was actually crying backstage. That's why we were taking so long to get back.
TLO's been disqualified because he didn't show up to his match against Select because he was in the crowd watching Idra versus Bomber instead of being at his match. So that means he starts out with a default 0-2 loss to Select. That means that Select has at the very least broken his 0-5 curse.
Yeah, I was going to say he's already doing better than last
without having
MLG.
to do that much. Now at 5:30, or excuse me, 6:30, we will be doing Nada versus Kiwikaki, but what are we jumping into right now?
Right now we're going to be jumping into a series that is currently tied 1-1. It's going to be Slush versus Donregu, which if I'm not mistaken is a ZVZ. And it is now game number 3. So we're just going to hop right in that. They've been waiting. They were nice enough to wait for us. So we're just going to jump right in. Again, it's tied 1-1 going into this game.
And I think, again, we have said before that Slush is really the upset special in all of MLGs. Managed to take down Moon, is an absolute master at Zerg vs. Zerg. Complexity MVP Dongregu is kind of a master at everything. And you know what? I'm going to make little hearts in the loading screen that everyone can see.
You should. I see you watching yourself over there, Sean, on the huge monitor. It looks absolutely good. And so, yeah, again, if you're just tuning in, because I know the streams are completely, we're basically casting a game that is not listed. It is going to be game number 3. We have not seen the 2 other games, but this does mean that it's now down to a best of 1, and it's between our 2 players that we see right before us, Chun.
In the bottom left, we have from Complexity MVP. And it looks like it's Dongregu, and it looks like there is an announcement from within the map. In the top right corner, we have Rain Slush, who appears to be going for a 7-pool, Husky.
Oh, yeah, he is actually, Sean. I was busy reading that, but yeah, he is absolutely doing just that. He is not continuing production of drones at all. He just now dropped that spawning pool down. And Sean, any thoughts about that on this map when it's currently tied 1-1? Like, what's going on in his head right now?
Oh, this could be any number of things. I mean, the 10 pool has become increasingly popular in Korea. If you pull off a 7 pool right, you can get some of the same advantages that a 10 pool provides. The 10 pool allows you to get your queen up very, very early, get 2 queens for defense at your ramp. Same story with the 7 pool, but the 7 pool is a lot riskier. Look at this Slush, not even spending any additional money. He's not actually going to go for that Overlord. He's going to go straight up for the Zerglings. I really think that we might see a Spinecrawler Zergling rush. I don't actually think that Slush wants to go into the late game at all against MVP.
Yeah, Sean, I was just going to say, this looks like it's potentially going to be a very short game for our first game. And is Dongregu just now dropping his own spawning pool?
Wow, this is going to be insanity if Slush just wins right here with a 7 pool. I call Dongregu MVP, but of course, he has tons of letters of all sorts in his name, Husky.
Yeah, absolutely. Just looking at that name. Oh man, but Sean, this spawning pool is definitely going to be way delayed. The Zerglings are going to be on the way. Here comes the 4 drones right now. And is Dongregu going to have an answer for this, you think, Sean?
Oh, this is going to be extremely close. We see that spawning pool still has a little bit longer. Keep in mind, spine crawlers do take 50 seconds to build. That's going to be quite a lot of time. We don't see anything getting produced in Rain Slush's base. That means he will not be able to produce any additional Zerglings. But why produce extra Zerglings when you can make spine crawlers, Husky?
Yeah, no, he's doing an absolutely all-in as it gets right here, Sean. He has 300 minerals saved up. Here comes the attack right now. The Zerglings have arrived, and 4 Zerglings are being produced for Dongregu. Here comes the spine crawlers right now. 2 spine crawlers already down. He will have enough for another spine crawler in just a moment. This is going to be a lot of pressure. Does Dongregu have the micro that he's going to need here? Because every time he finds a little bit of minerals, he'll be just fine. But Sean, this is a very, very fast attack.
And it looks like one of those spine crawlers is going to be vulnerable. And there's the push from all the drones. And we see Slush doing a good job of controlling this. He has lost the other drones, so that means that he cannot produce any additional spine crawlers. And we see Slush continuing to try to micro to keep this one spine crawler alive. But drones are so good against Zerglings. It looks like the spine crawler will be forced to be canceled. And he does cancel it. More Zerglings en route for Slush. But it looks like one of those spine crawlers is going to be finishing. Slush could remake another spine crawler, but there is one spine crawler finishing. It's starting to poke away at those Zerglings and drones, but it looks like Dongregu will be able to have a very sound defense.
That is not going to be enough damage, though, dealt there by Slush. It's 8 supply to 17, and this is one of those situations, Sean, where I'm imagining me or anyone I know playing against this build on ladder and just absolutely crumbling, but it shows you the importance of heavy amounts of micro there. Dongregu held that off beautifully. Here comes a couple more Zerglings for Slush. He has used every single resource on getting these out. He still, I don't think, has made a single Overlord this entire game, and he's got to try and put on this pressure, but after that micro we've seen, I don't know if that's going to be enough just to secure a win here.
Yeah, I mean, with these Zerglings coming in, there's really not that much that can be done at this point in time. Look at this. MVP gets an amazing surround. Dongregu now crushing this force, and there is the good game, well played, turning into the W bracket. So that does mean Dongregu takes a win in his first match, 2-1.
Yeah, Sean, and that rush was very crazy out of Slush. I don't know if I've seen it with that many drones. Usually it's 1 or 2, but he had 4 mixed in there. But that just shows you, we talk about this time and time again, the practice regimen of the Korean players. He just held it off like it was a sunny, breezy day, and it was just fine for him. So, and he kept most of his drones alive as well, which was very impressive.
Yeah, I will say that I don't think Slush really even needed to do that. I mean, it's very common in other matchups to go for that crazy all-in cheese. Right. Sometimes you'll see Terrans 3 racks open against a Zerg, completely ignore the the orbital command, and just try to marine bunker their way for a win, or the proxy gates or cannon rushes. And Zerg versus Zerg, though, I mean, almost anything that isn't a very fast hatchery can defend against a 7 pool. And even if you do go hatchery first and cancel, you can generally defend it okay with just drones.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we saw there. You're mentioning drones very good against Zerglings. They really absolutely are, especially that early in the game when you have more drones than there are Zerglings to begin with. So I got to hand Dongregu, though. He held it off, and he held it off with style, not taking severe losses there, and his basically keeping a level head during that. And he was able to kill those off. So our very first game ended up being very quick. It was a 2-0, but we only got to see the last one. So
that is so great on Stream Blue. Again, we were going to begin with TLO Select, but TLO didn't show up because he was watching Idra versus Bomber, which went as a 2-0 result for Bomber.
And Sean, I feel really bad because that's something that I would do. Like, instead of showing up to my first day of work, I show up to order food at the place I'm supposed to be working. I've been in that situation before, so I feel for the guy. He is human. You were saying he may be a little action figure, but no, he's human. He's making human mistakes, man. So he is here. He's not dead. Hopefully we'll be seeing him in the future.